Hey everybody, this is Father Ethan. Today is August 6th, the feast of our Lord's Transfiguration, and I want to say just a few words today about what I think that image, that story of Jesus' Transfiguration has to teach us. It must have been terrifying for Peter, James, and John when that cloud overshadowed them and the big booming voice from heaven said, "This is my son, my chosen, listen to him." I've often thought, though, that I would love for God to speak to me with such directness and clarity rather than the frustratingly vague and elusive way I usually experience God. One of my parishioners put it recently, "Okay, God, I need you to do some cartwheels right about now." Wouldn't that be great for God to be more straightforward, to give us some clear and unmistakable sign of what he's up to and what he wants from us? Peter, James, and John don't know how lucky they are to hear that booming voice from heaven. Unfortunately, God rarely reveals the truth to us through cartwheels or a big booming voice from heaven. We don't usually gain greater insight into God's workings within us in a single moment of blazing insight like the Transfiguration. And there's a reason for that. Human beings learn best through experience, the accumulation of knowledge, skills, wisdom, and growth over a long period of time. It's through the cumulative effect of everything that we live through, our successes, our failures, the adversities that we survive, the relationships that really click, and those that end as train wrecks, that we figure out what God has been doing with us. So this story of Jesus' Transfiguration with Moses and Elijah miraculously standing on either side of him is a vision that we human beings hope to achieve not in a single moment, but over a lifetime. Jesus may appear transfigured in a sudden blaze of white light, but it takes us human beings a lot longer to get there, if we ever get there at all. And so the wisdom of the Transfiguration story is that it gives us something to shoot for, something to inspire us, to keep our eye on the figure of the transfigured Jesus as we plod along in our daily lives. It may be that for us mere mortals, we're going through a continual series of small transfigurations that gradually, often prosaically, turn us into a new creation. The effect may not seem particularly dramatic most of the time, but I bet many of us can look back on the people we were 10 or 20 years ago and marvel at how much we've changed and grown. And if you look back on your life so far with disappointment or grief, just remember that God is never through with you and may be leading you through a dark, scary place so that you can emerge into the light someday. The story of Jesus' Transfiguration is a story of hope. Hope that God is always doing something wonderful with us that we do not yet know. We just have to stick with God and be satisfied with his vague whisperings in our ear and try to obey as best we can. A big booming voice from heaven and cartwheels would certainly make things easier. But then our transfiguration wouldn't be much of an achievement. Claiming ourselves requires that most of the work be ours, with a little gentle nudging by God along the way. Well, thanks everybody for sharing this time with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to comment, to subscribe, to like, and to share. And stay tuned for my sermon from this last Sunday in which I speak about the Feast of the Transfiguration. It connects with this little reflection, so I hope you enjoy that too. See you next time.